hello everyone. Okay, my lighting in here is not that good. I could turn some lights on. I don't think it's going to make any difference. Okay, I'm going to try my best here to go through all this information that I have here. Now, I don't know how many of you remember this recording, but I'll just quickly show it.
In effect, we'll be turning Western Australia into an island within an island.
Right, so for those who remember that, now you got to question yourself, how did he do it? How did he get away with all this? Did he get away with it? Right, so one of my past videos, you saw me post something about French colonization. It's a short little thing, okay? Since then I've done my looking at it. Anyone out there familiar with New Holland? New Holland. Anyway, this is about a French guy that came in, a small French group came in 1772. The French annexed New Holland, but they make claim to the Western Australian side where Shark Bay is. But unfortunately, it's not a very good piece of history. Indigenous people will be very pissed that I'm using this as any reference because they stole their stuff. But the stuff was eventually returned by the French later on. However, their stealing of the stuff did allow them to better communicate in the 1800s. Yay. Okay, all right, so getting that out the road, all right? The French and the English were always in grabs for Western Australia. So that's why I'm still looking up the research on Albany on this one, is one of the reasons why Albany is actually the first town. And Albany is also the origin of the local council. Don't be shocked. Right, so getting on with this, that is just preliminary information about the past. And then here's my favorite bit, the Constitution the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Australia, right? Now, funny enough, there's a Constitution of Western Australia as well, but we're going to ignore that for now. Anyway, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Australia says, and if Western Australia agrees. Now, I'm going to make this point very important right now, okay? Now, I want you to watch this whole video. I know it's going to be long, and I know it's going to be briefly, but I'm just going to show you this quickly. All right? Now, you're probably wondering what that paper is in his hand. It's actually incriminating evidence of Mark McGowan and the Labour government, believe it or not. Shocking. Yeah, but to understand how it's incriminating and how it's going to be incriminating, I have to explain everything to you. So that is why I'm going to ask you to very patiently go along with this. Now, not to recap this, I'm getting rid of my computer now. Computers will be the death of us all. And I know the irony of me using it. Anyway, I researched a bit of this history. And this history, I found this information starting in Busselton, believe it or not. And it got me asking different questions. And then I actually was talking to someone or consequences of me about the whole French thing. And he pointed out to me about 1933. 1933, what happened in 1933? Wow, there's even a book on it too. But that's where this flag comes in. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, there's sound effects in this and I'm making them. Right, so that's where that comes into effect. But have you ever heard of secession? Well, I'm just going to double check that you understand that this came from the museum of Western Australia. And yes, there is documentation here. Look, I'm going to put some other documentations at the end of this. Hopefully I can, some other filmings and that at the end show you that I didn't just photocopy a bunch of stuff and print it out, because I physically went to these locations and found the information, because it's physically impossible to find this information otherwise. Now, going back to that picture that Mike McGowan had here, it says the Dominion League of Western Australia. The Dominion League of Western Australia. And, well, there's a lot to go through on this video, so please bear with me. All right, so just gonna push this away for a second. That's all consequential evidence. This is what I found in Busselton, and I later found a similar one in well, this is one I found in the Maritime Museum. So double proof of that. Right, so getting into it, this is a flag from the era. See? This is a bunch of advertisements from that lager. This is the referendum vote. Now I'm going to say this now. You're going to say, yeah, it didn't win, did it? It actually did win. It actually got somewhere between 66 or 68%. The history logs are a little fuzzy. I'm going to go with the week on this one and say that it's probably closer to 66. Okay, that's not me using it as a reference. That's just me saying that sounds probably right because they do their research. Right, so it got a win. Okay, a little more evidence here. Here's our advertisements. And here's my all-time favorite pen, the Sunday Times. Now, for those who don't know what the Sunday Times is, it's a newspaper, comes out only on Sunday and is probably a part of the, well, mainstream media. Oh no, but the mainstream media just actually hung themselves. They've probably done the right thing back then. Right, so going with that, I now have to point out to the following now. All of this got ran out, right? So here's a big file, which I had to print off in the end. It's the case of the people of Western Australia in support of their decision with withdrawal from the Commonwealth of Australia, blah, 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 blah. It's a huge book. I haven't even read the whole bloody thing yet. Needless to say, it was a smaller version of it here, which I managed to get from a guy in Rockingham. Oh, wait. There's that word Rockingham. Now, I got this from a guy on eBay on Rockingham. I'm not going to say who he is because, you know, eBay, man, I wouldn't know who he really is. I actually do, but, you know, in this case, I'm not going to bring it up. However, it was very interesting to learn that. Now, you're going to say, hey, that's not going to do anything unless you have the answer from the Commonwealth of Australia. The Commonwealth of Australia, actually, this book here is an original and is literally falling apart, and I actually managed to purchase that at an extremely insane amount. But it's, well, most people wouldn't have the money for this. In fact, $100 is pretty steep, but, you know, it's actually more than that, but a little bit more. But anyway, it is the case is it's actually the reply to the case of secession for the state of Western Australia. Now, obviously, they didn't get it. However, I did find out they were allowed to make small, minor changes to things. Okay, I'm falling all over stuff right now. Okay, sorry, I'm losing my thread. I'm not really trying. I'm trying to do this in one whole footage, so I hope you bear with me. Now, what I just lost here was the Sunday Times thing. The big ass poster I just showed you over there. Something from the Maritime Museum proving that French were here at one point. The yes no ballot itself. And here's the big blow up one I did. Okay, so this here is the Dominion League of Western Australia. God Save the King. Westralia. It's a little fuzzy, I'm sorry, but I mean, blew it up the best I could. I don't think my other copies came out too much better. No, it did not. Alright, so you're thinking, well, what? There's nothing wrong with having a Dominion of this. Is there? Wait, we're going back here. The Dominion League of Western Australia. Now, here it comes, okay? Now, some facts about the secession, what it would do. Well, according to this little fact sheet, it was 68 voted in favor. So forth, so on. Nowadays, in 2006, when this one came from, it was arguing that we'd get to hold on to more of the GST. Yeah, I'm just going to say this now. The Australian Constitution states that for the first 10 years, each state was to spare they share their funds equally between them to establish their states. This states, right? All the states are established. It's been like 110 years now. So go fuck yourselves, other states. And it's about time we actually stood up and said, no more. That'll allow funds to stay in WA. Oh no, I just solved that problem. All right, getting back to this. I then went to the library to do more research on this, and there was a research group. Guess what they're called? This research group was called the Dominion League of Western Australia, and this research was done, copyrighted, 2010. I'm a little confused here. 2010. Right, now, Ray showed you that. That's an interesting facts there, okay? Now, it comes to this picture again. This picture is everything. This picture was found on their website, by the way, but I mean, that's Mark McGowan, guys. Mark McGowan holding this. Mark McGowan holding that picture. Now you're thinking, what's this guy on about? Why is this incriminating? He used this piece of legislation, which did not get passed, to place locks on our borders and keep everyone out with a massively hard, very hard, super hard blockade from 2020 to approximately 2022, 2023. The exact times I'm not exactly sure on that. Right? Now, we've all been looking for evidence to say he can't do this. But that's not the end of this. This succession, the secession here, right, is also what they used to pass the bill in Parliament for quarantines, to be able to take your property, to do this, take your business, take that, take this, that, and the next thing. Uh-oh. But here's the beautiful thing. This here answer from the Commonwealth, and I'm hoping I'm correct on this because I'm still researching most of this, all right, is literally an Ace Ventura pet detective, or human detective, or should I say Western Australia detective, into the absolute truth, which is they weren't allowed to do it. They're hard border lock. But here's the best bit about it. You're going to say, what, there's more? All right, so remember, it was Governor Kim Beazley that signed off on this in the first place. Signed off on all of it. On all of this. Anyway, he signed off on that. And Chris Dawson, our current governor, at the time, the commander of the quarantine, also went through with it without checking. Did anyone check? Why didn't anyone check? Nobody checked. The Matrix is awake, guys. I love that poster. But the Matrix here is awake. It's cracked. We've cracked the Matrix. Why is the Matrix cracking now? Because enough people want it to crack. Okay? So what is the incriminating evidence here? The incriminating evidence is they were not allowed to do it. And we have the evidence of that now. Okay? Now I'm recording this video and I'm going to put it up. Obviously, this is like level 100% seriously going deep into this thing. But unlike every other person out there that's gone and listened to some other dopey cunt, and that's now currently you're listening to a dopey cunt. Oh, wait, that's me. But, you know, I actually fucking sat down and done the research. All right, so I sat down, done the research, found the materials, found everything I could, and it was all based on a different thing I was doing, which was another channel of mine. It's called Born in the Tent. Please check it out, guys. It's literally got no subscribers yet, and you think that it would be doing better considering the Silver's only got like 200 subscribers. You know, ever on any channel. It's like you don't like me. Oh, well, go fuck yourselves too. I don't really give a shit. I go and look for the truth, and half the time, nobody wants to hear the truth, because the truth can be both hurtful and disturbing. Oh no. Because it's true. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Everyone's listening to other people dribble on about a truth that sits level up with them. Now going back to the Australian Constitution that says, and if Western Australia agrees. Now, I'm going to say this now. If you are currently going into court, say the following thing upon the opening. Your Honor, I would like to say the following and make sure the court will agree to this. I agree as a Western Australian to the 1901 Constitution. Can the court also agree to that? They answer no. You say, then this court, I cannot stay in this court. I request a new court. Get out of there. Just walk out because it's not a fair court. Once they've agreed to that, they cannot ignore the Constitution. Make sure both sides, the judge and whoever else is on the other side, police, state prosecutors, whatever, make sure they say it. Make sure they firmly say yes. Make sure you say, can I have that from the other party? That way, they can't just make up any crap they want. And that prevents any of this ever coming to a flood. That goes for you too, Ben Faulkner. I love that you fought back, and I love that you're still fighting. I hope you are still fighting anyway. This stuff, it's a headache. It's a nightmare. It's the giantest hole I ever fell down. I was personally researching this out of curiosity about the French thing to start with, to find out it was a 1933 thing, and a referendum where we actually won. But it got stopped by the Constitution of Australia, not the Constitution of Western Australia, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Australia stopped it. Why? Because the Commonwealth Constitution states that all the states have to vote for this. Now, there were a number of states out there that were okay with us doing that at the time, and there may be some links to the current government's families and so forth to the event. That may take research. That's speculation, and I admit that it is speculation. Okay? Now, in this, I ask you all to check out the other material which I'm going to put at the end of this, which is just me in my research mode to show you that I actually went to these places. Okay? Just stuff I flashed up. Most of the stuff is here, and this is my full video on it. Okay? It's kind of long, this video. And you're probably thinking, why would you watch this whole thing? Well, I'm just going to say it now. The beginning, the end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. Now, that's a Smash Pumpkin song, believe it or not, and actually debuted in a Batman movie, Batman and Robin. But there's so much truth in that song, and there's so much truth in that saying, because in the beginning, which is the end, you see, a beginning to this here information I had, is the end of the beginning of the next load of crap they pulled on us. So the bill they passed a couple of years ago is not valid under these grounds. But you're probably saying, how do we fight this? How do we do that about this? Well, with this type of information and evidence, you could take this to the physical courts and make sure we say that at the beginning that we agree, we Western Australians, or I, a Western Australian, or the Western Australians, or all Western Australians involved in this trial, wish to make sure that the Constitution of 1901 is acknowledged. Okay? Make sure it gets acknowledged. Tell them that we agree with it, and we'd like to make sure that the trial, the court, whatever, you have to word it correctly, obviously. All right? And you're probably thinking, I don't know what I'm talking about. In fact, I had some fucking dumbass call me a goose once. He doesn't know nothing. He doesn't know. I've got people yelling and screaming at me, telling me, why the hell am I going down this rabbit hole? Wow. Rabbit hole found. Hey everyone, I found Wonderland. But remember, when Alice fell down that rabbit hole to find Wonderland, she didn't find truth. She found chaos. This is chaos. Just like Neo took the tablets. You know, the red and the blue. Well, I'm going to snap you all out of it right now. What do you do if you got a tablet that's blue on one side and red on the other side? Do you take it? No, you don't. You don't take it. Look, because it's drugs. Okay, just deal with it. It's drugs. Okay, no drugs. Okay, fuck the drugs. Right? Now I'm recording this. It's got up on the internet. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to stay on YouTube, but I'm hoping it does. I'm going to try to put it on Rumble as well. I'll try a couple other platforms. All the information I provided today here, as you've seen in visual evidence, is visual evidence, okay? I mean, literally, this is a publication of the Commonwealth of Australia, okay? This is original, see? It's all ripped and torn and shit. I've got it in this bag for its own safety. There is a flag in existence over this. Here is a printed off copy of the secession and all its information. It's all here, okay? Now, I had to print that off because the actual copy of that, an actual copy of that is somewhere in like $700 to $1,000. So obviously I'm not paying that kind of ridiculous money for it, so I printed it off instead. Now, I printed it off not as a copyright-based thing. I printed it off because I can't stare at the bloody goddamn screens on a computer for too long. I'm sure everyone understands that, right? Okay. Now, I ordered this from him. I mean, we've all seen this. I showed this before, the secession. Okay, so this is a governmented government, right? And see, proper. I'm going to show you the pages. See? Oh, look. Yeah. Australians. Look at the big bills. See? All the evidence. I'm just showing you the pages quickly. I'm not sure if it's going to come out perfect imaging. I don't give a crap. It does. Go buy it yourself. That's the book. There you go. It's actually in the state library. You cannot leave with it, unfortunately, but you can request it there. Okay? But, like I said, my big one on this one was this here. The Dominion of Western Australia. Dominion League of WA. That's my all-time favorite one. While I was trying to research this project more, I found out the research party name is the Dominion League of Western Australia. Booyah! Now all the other people who go out there and just report and don't investigate, go fuck yourselves. I don't really give a shit, right? Half of you fucking block my ass anyway, so fuck yourselves. Should communicate a bit better and share, right? Because I share with you and you don't really share back. In fact, half the time you give me an hour out of information or ignore my ass, or you want me to come on your personal ass show to get this, that, and the next thing. Now, that's not me taking a shot at Aaron Malloy. Aaron Malloy does a great job on Edge Radio. Edge Radio, please watch it. I am willing to go on Edge Radio with some of this stuff too and talk about it. So if you want that to happen, Aaron Malloy, you can get that. Right? Anyone else out there can go fuck themselves because I don't trust them for shit. Okay? I am D. Silver. The unstoppable Silver, might I add. And like some of my family members, the Silver Fox, the Silver Stallion, the Silver, I am the unstoppable Silver because it doesn't stop. The messages from the Lord never stop. Why the silver? The silver is the color, the dove. It is the messenger. Okay? It is that what it is. Okay? The dove, the Holy Spirit itself, will impart on you information and knowledge. If you seek, you will find. If you find, you will learn. And when you learn and you share, everyone will awaken. Thank you very much. Here's the following information that I promised. All right, so I'm at the exhibition here in the Perth Museum. It's called, looking at the subject called Westralia. Now, for the last few months or a while, I've been doing some research on this, and it's been very tricky to find it all. And most of the information is here. And I have also been told that there is online information on the museum website about it. I find it very interesting, but it's extremely hard to find the information about it. And probably one of the reasons I never ever got really investigated further into is because around that era, in 1933, we were experiencing possibilities of war and disorienting during Europe and all that. And Australia, of course, was hearing the information. And then, of course, World War II broke out a few years later. So you're probably guessing, like me, that's probably why no one continued into this, because here's a war that could end it all or take us all over. So this is the exhibition in itself. Huh? It's a bit about it. This is their name for Western Australia. It was going to be Westralia. There's a bit of information there. I'll try my best to film this. You could pause the video. I've got the GoPro, so this should come up in good quality. Right, so I'm just going to put my shadow over this because it's probably going a little bit better. Not really working too well. Anyway, it got rejected, obviously, by Upper Parliament, or the Commonwealth of Australia. Apparently, it could have been challenged within the 80-day period of it being thing, but could have been challenged here. And yeah, some of the things around this is very interesting. Titles and so forth. I'm not supposed to put the light here, but I want to. It's not helping, so we're just going to turn that off. Anyway, the information. Trying my best here to get this information. This is on the WA Museum website, apparently, all this. Like I said, you can pause this, read it and all that. I'm using the best quality video you can get. And here's the see, there's a bit of a West Australia flag there, as you can see. I've got one of them at home in this research. A few of the people that were around us, and yeah. Here's your basic voting thing. Obviously, probably a little more advanced than that because I've actually seen the proper one. So yeah, I've seen this photo everywhere. It's probably the easiest photo to find. No wait, that is the Westralia movement for Western Australia to become Westralia and be its own country. I thought it was very interesting, but it's not taught in school. It's skipped. They skip it. Why? Because they're afraid we might actually do it. And you know what? I'm just going to say it now. To this very day, other states are looting us for money, okay, and taking money from the state. And after the global pandemic thing, you find that this state has kept it alive all this time. So I would say that this isn't a good idea, but this is something they could use to make sure to keep the money in the state so that the other states don't keep taking it. So I'm on the way to the Maritime Museum in Fremantle, and hopefully I find the artifacts I'm looking for in display from 1772.
This train runs from Perth to Fremantle, stopping at all stations.
It also appears I have to stop at every station because the machine says so. Alright, so I've seen this statue before. This is the same one I found at Bethlehem. Look at that year. Alright, so taking a look at this Dominion League of WA, they had a lot of flyers and pamphlets and so forth, and most of this was established by them, and it was also about the grab for Canberra as well, which is this thing here. Now, all up saying that this may look like a good decision for keeping our GST money, but it's not a good decision for the overall of Western Australia. And this was all defeated by the 1901 Australian Constitution, which stated that everyone must vote. So anyone thinking about pursuing this, to make sure you understand that all of Australia needs to vote for something like this.